This is my friend Fowler. He's currently a PNG tuber and has had his classic blob design for as long as I've known him. It's the start of 2023 at the time of starting this project, and I wanted to start off his new year with a bang, like giving him his own custom VTuber model. We're a little late to that part though. Sorry, Fowler. This channel has no sponsors. Sponsors, friends, hit me up. Wink, wink. So all the money I'm using is coming straight out of pocket. So make sure you subscribe and hit that like button to help out the channel. Much thank. With many just starting out, I wanted to use this opportunity to prove that you don't need any special skills or talents to make a model. I didn't draw, design, or rig any of it. I just wrote the ideas down and let the artist handle the rest. I limited myself to just giving feedback and following Fowler's vision and ideas as best as I could. VTuber models are expensive, and for a good reason. I made a video about that here. Check it out later. A basic mid-range model can typically set you back more than $1,000. And as much as I wanted to dish out for my boy, I didn't have that kind of money just laying around. So I set myself a budget of around $300 instead. But wait! A lower budget doesn't necessarily mean a low quality model. I still wanted to give Fowler a high quality model that he can be proud of and be excited to use for a while to come. In order to get the best bang out of my buck with this relatively low model budget, I needed to scour the web to find the best deals I could. So to keep everything nice and organized, I set up a small Google Sheets. This showed what I needed commissioned: the concept, model, and rig, and also the budget and cost, and my top 3 choices for each category. These acted as fallback in case the first choice fell through. In my opinion, a VTuber model is a very personal thing. It serves as a way for people to express themselves and is something that should represent the VTuber the way that they want to be represented. So as much as I'd love for this to be a complete surprise for Fowler, I needed to perform my due diligence and ask him what he wanted for his model. Do you want to give yourself a quick introduction?
Hi, Fowler. I'm just a little blog for now, and I'm planning to evolve in a different form, let's say.
Okay, so I wanted to get you into this call to talk about your design.
I sent a few messages to friends just to ask them because I don't really know what to do. The most interesting thing that came out was like a dark way of Rimuru. Like now I'm a slime to a blob or whatever you want to call it. So like becoming human or human form. It's interesting and that's actually cool.
Is there any kind of like elements or anything you want as part of your model, aside from it being essentially dark-themed Rimuru?
Major thing I want in difference with Rimuru is that I don't want it to be a kid like Rimuru.
Anything particular about clothing?
So I like something more plain, something more normal, something
Simple?
Yeah, more simple, like, I don't know. I don't want it to be completely a fantasy thing. Maybe a mix of fantasy and normal world.
Aside from clothing, any kind of like weapon you want attached?
I think that's like a great sword right now would be actually not bad. I mean, I'm a slime with a great sword. Literally. Right now. I mean, it's even one of the weapons I like the most in general. Maybe this simple one that I have right now, the one from Naraka.
So it's a dark-themed Rimuru, not a kid, being simple with a mix of fantasy and modern, while not being as edgy or fantasy as Rimuru, with a great sword on the back that is like Yoto's, but more in a dark or black kind of theme. You happy to run with that for now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. Any final words before we end off?
Ciao.
Ciao. Oh wait, hang on, you're Italian. You can say it properly. Fowler had more of a general idea than specific requests, which meant that we could work with a bit more creative freedom. Additionally, I would only show him the rough reference board and sketch designs so that he could confirm what he liked but still keep the final product a surprise. With the call concluded and a rough idea scribbled down, I visualized it using a method I mentioned in my How to Be a VTuber video, which was compiling a reference sheet out of spliced images on the internet, making sure I made the idea as clear as possible while still emphasizing the important elements. Making this reference sheet will make the designer's life a lot easier while allowing your vision to come through. Once I was done, the hunt for artists commenced. There are 3 main components when creating a VTuber model: the design, the model art itself, and the rigging to allow the model to move. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted to give Fowler a high quality model, but also had to fit it within the $300 limit. In order to achieve this, I had to be smart and prioritize the cost of each task. So let's think this through. Personally, rigging would be the most expensive in normal circumstances, but since we're on a tight budget, I decided to put it as the last priority as it was dependent on the model art. It's also the most upgradable, so we can always come back to it later. So next was design. Design was important, and a bad design could affect the quality of the model as a whole. The design of your model is also what people tend to associate you with. So you would expect the design to be top priority, but I'm actually placing it second due to the fact that artists usually charge much less for this than model art. Which leads me to the top priority and the thing that will receive the most budget out of all three, the model art. Along with your design, your model art is one of the very first things people see from you before even clicking on your stream or channel. Having good model art also means having the flexibility to upgrade or change the rigging without having to worry about replacing the entire model itself, which might save you a lot of money in the long run. Unless of course you decide to change the design. So now that I have my budget priorities sorted, it's time to search for artists. Firstly, I wanted this jumbled mess to be one coherent design, so off I was to find a concept artist. There are plenty of places to look for one, such as Twitter, Discord, etc., but the most practical place I found was Fiverr. The artists were plentiful and the costs were within budget, but I do highly encourage anyone using Fiverr to do your research on anyone you commission, as it can be a bit of a dodgy site. Fiverr is known for having scammers and art thieves, but there are some great and genuine artists there too. A little tip to keep in mind is that if their reviews are good, their profile description is genuine, and the art style is consistent, then all should be good. However, if you're looking to commission someone nowadays, I do recommend trying out VGen. They launched after I started this project, so I unfortunately wasn't able to use their services. Out of my three choices, Diogo Designs ended up on top as his art style and designs were really good quality and fit the idea I had in my head. After reviewing his past work and page a bit more, I was ready to pick out a package and hit order. He was quick to respond and a really friendly guy in general. He got back to me with the design a bit later than expected, but it was Christmas in the holiday season, so it was to be expected. And to be honest, it didn't really bother me, especially with how the artwork turned out. I showed Fowler and he seemed really happy, so I got his approval and sent Diogo Designs some feedback of my own. He later returned with a finished design that I personally really liked, and I gave him a 5-star. I would totally recommend him. His Fiverr page will be linked in the description along with all the other people I've commissioned for this project. With a smile on my face and a fire in my heart, I trucked on ahead to the next phase, model art. This was the top budget priority, so I had a lot more freedom and fun when searching for artists. I looked on Fiverr, Twitter, Discord, and even on Skeb, but the place I eventually found the most suitable artist was on VTuber.gg, a site made by the popular rigging guild some of you might already be familiar with, Iron Vertex. It houses many VTuber artists and riggers, and out of my three choices, the artist I went for was Hero Banana. Their art style really lends well towards the male designs, and I knew as soon as I saw them that they were the one destined to be Fowler's future art parent. I decided to go for the bust option because anything more would be well over budget, and realistically, that's what's shown on stream 90% of the time. Communication was smooth, despite Twitter being a mess sometimes, and they delivered quality. We added on a bit of purple highlights that the original concept lacked, as I thought it might add a bit more texture to the hair. Was this worth the $200 price tag? Considering how much work it is to make model art, from splitting every piece of the model to rendering and all the feedback and iterations in between, yes, it was definitely worth it. Now, with an even bigger smile on my face and an ever-growing excitement brewing, I hunted down the model rigger like Thanos hunted down that time stone. This has got to have been one of the most difficult searches yet, because getting a good rigger at such a low price range is like finding a rare Pokemon. I searched everywhere and ended up with a bajillion tabs from all the potential riggers I considered. I also scrolled so far down VTuber.gg that out of the seemingly endless slew of riggers, I literally reached the end. After hours of searching though, I finally decided on my top 3, and from those top 3, I chose Kokoro Fujiwara, who was my option A. I thought that the quality of their rigs for the price offered was great value. The package itself was as basic as it came, but the range of movement and physics were really good, and as I mentioned, you can always upgrade and add to it later. Though I did have to pay a little extra for the wing on and off toggle, and the delivery took quite a bit longer than expected, but I was still satisfied and happy with the final result. Overall, I was satisfied with most everything. I thought the rigging could be a bit better and the delivery for it to be a bit sooner, but at this price point, I'll take what I can get. I also wish I could have worked with Fowler a little bit more to ensure that he got exactly what he wanted, but I wasn't able to for the sake of surprises. So we'll just have to hope that he likes it, even a little bit. All in all, given the numerous constraints we had to deal with, I still think that the final product came out looking pretty decent. If anything, it proves that you can get a good custom VTuber model without having to take out a mortgage. Now let's go show this to Fowler and see his reaction.
Hello.
Hello! So it's been many moons since I last talked to you about the model, and I can finally show you what I have. And I think the best way to do that is to just like hook it up to my VTube studio and then just screen share with you, and then I'll send you the file. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello!
Okay,
This is...
that's cool.
Was it worth the wait?
It was. It definitely was worth the wait. I don't really know what to say about all this. Just thank you.
No problem, it's a pleasure, and well, I'm glad you like it. Don't forget to check out Fowler at twitch.tv/FowlerCH. Thanks for watching. Ciao!